People from ethnic minority groups are more likely to die from some cancers because of a shortage of suitable bone marrow donors. That's according to a charity set up to encourage more people from black and other minority groups to join the register. The Anthony Nolan Trust says the greatest chance of survival for some people is to find a match from someone with the same genetic background, as Deborah Bain now reports.
It's hard to believe doctors gave Daniel de Gale just a week to live when he was 6 years old and diagnosed with leukemia. After years of chemotherapy, he was told his best chance of survival was a bone marrow transplant. His family realised that with so few black people on the UK register, there was little chance of finding a match here. His donor eventually came from America.
Years ago, I didn't really think about next week or a week after that. I was just tending to get past the day, how I was feeling today. Every day was different. Sometimes I wake up feeling fine, sometimes I wake up feeling ill. Every day as it comes, now I'm able to look months, years down into the future and prepare for what I know that I've got to do. It's two different lives, really.
But there are many other cases like Daniel's.
Hello, Sarah.
Sarah Thompson is also waiting for her world to be transformed. She thought she'd beaten leukemia, then it returned. Now doctors say she too needs a bone marrow transplant.
It's so difficult to be in this situation, to have beaten cancer once and for it to have returned anyway makes you feel quite helpless and hopeless. To have more chemo and for them to then say, we're really sorry, but we don't actually have a match for you, it's heartbreaking.
This is where they're trying to find a match for Sarah, who's painfully aware the odds are stacked against her. That's because most of the donors on Britain's bone marrow register are white, and there's a shortage of donors from other ethnic backgrounds.
If you're white Northern European, you have a 70% chance of finding a potential donor. But that figure drops dramatically to as low as 20% if you're black, mixed race or from another ethnic background.
Experts agree there's a better chance of success if the patient and donor have the same ethnic background.
Each individual from an ethnic minority has a greater value as a donor than from the general white community, because the numbers they add, the percentage they add to that, to the overall numbers on the database.
You want to register as a potential donor, you've come through to the right place.
Daniel's parents are trying to boost those numbers. They set up the African Caribbean Leukemia Trust to encourage more people to register and hope they'll be able to find a potential match for Sarah and give her the chance of life. Deborah Bain, BBC News.
Well, now, Sarah Thompson was on the report and she's with me here to tell us more about her search for a donor. Sarah, tell us about your condition and what you need.
Okay, basically I have cancer of the blood, which is called acute myeloid leukemia. I was first diagnosed 2 years ago and I successfully went through 4 rounds of chemo, and I had 13 months of remission, and I was very healthy and thought that I could get my life back together. I was able to have the wedding that we had to initially postpone because I got ill, but unfortunately 3 days before Christmas last year I was told that I'd relapsed, that the cancer had returned, and that another dose of chemotherapy was not going to be enough for me, that I actually needed a transplant. And I knew already that there was a shortage of black and mixed race people on the bone marrow register, so immediately I knew that that was going to be a problem. But I first had to get through the chemotherapy, which was very high dose, and I spent weeks in hospital at a time. I've been through that, I've done my bit, I'm back in remission, and now basically I need somebody to step forward and give me some of their bone marrow.
Is the position you're in, given the lack of choice available at the moment, the lack of supply, if you like, is that, do you think, down to a particular problem, or is it because people are simply not aware of the fact that they could help?
I think that it's that people aren't aware of how easy a procedure it is, how simple it is. The amount of people who, after the recent drives that we've had, have come up to me and said, if I'd have known it was such a simple thing, I would have joined years ago. You know, I feel terrible that I'm not on it already, and I'm really happy that I'm here, and I'm going to tell all my friends to join because it's such a simple thing.
And do you think, ultimately, given this kind of publicity, you're hopeful that there'll be just that magic person who'll turn up who'll be suitable?
I am hopeful. I have to be hopeful, otherwise it just wouldn't be worth getting up in the morning, to be honest with you. I have to believe, and my family have to believe, that there is someone out there who will probably be of mixed race heritage like myself, but it could also be a white person or a black person, and I would just appeal to everybody to join the register.
Well, I know that every viewer will want me to say good luck.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Look, let's just remind you, that special clinic, because it's very important to find a donor for Sarah and for others. It's in London's Waterloo area tomorrow, and to find out the address, the details again, if you go to the African Caribbean Leukemia Trust website, here it is for you, it's on the screen now, www.aclt, that's aclt.org. So please go there, and if you can help, it'll be fantastically appreciated. Thank you very much.